Coming up tonight on 18 Eyewitness News.
Winter weather rolled into southeast Missouri and is leaving just as quickly. Also, State Representative Paul Fitzwater will seek a second term. Plus, state legislators are working on bills aimed at creating jobs and protecting taxpayers. All of these stories, and when will those 50-degree temperatures return?
News, sports, weather. This is 18 Eyewitness News.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Fred Dawkins. Tonight's top story is the weather. After almost 2 months of comfortable temperatures and very little precipitation, winter made a quick appearance here in southeast Missouri. Now, snowfall amounts range in parts of the area from 1 to 3 inches. With temperatures in the low 40s today, a good deal of the snow has already melted, and National Weather Service meteorologist Ben Miller says more precipitation is on the way.
Coming in Wednesday night, looks like rain's a pretty good bet, and there may be some thunder associated with that as well.
Miller says while there is the potential of thunderstorms, the National Weather Service is not expecting severe storms tomorrow. And while we're on the subject of the weather, Dustin Kopp is here with a look at our first forecast. Dustin?
Hey Fred, we saw a pretty decent snowfall here in southeast Missouri last night. Here in Farmington, we saw around 3 inches. Raleigh about 2.6, as well as in Cape Girardeau. Ironton saw about 2.1. Fredericktown about 2 inches and 1 inch in Poplar Bluff. There's not going to be any snowfall tonight, but temperatures are on the cold side. 33 degrees right now in St. Louis, 34 in Ironton, 32 right now in Fredericktown, and 34 in Marble Hill. So tonight we'll see a low around 31 degrees with a partly cloudy sky. South wind 10 to 15 miles per hour. There are some changes in store for your day tomorrow, including some rain, possibly even some thunderstorms. I'll give you all those details later on in weather.
State Representative Paul Fitzwater will run for re-election this November. The Potosi Republican, currently representing Missouri's 152nd House District, will run for the seat in the redrawn 144th District. While the 144th has most of his current district, Fitzwater says there are some significant differences.
I lost the people of Shannon County, were good people down there, and I really hated that. But I picked up some Wayne County, about 3/4 of Wayne County, and I look forward to going over into Wayne County and meeting those people this summer and doing a little bit of campaigning. But I'm very excited about my chances.
As he starts the second year for his first term, Fitzwater says he appreciates the opportunity to use his office to help his constituents.
My office has worked hard in all of the counties, and we've done lots of things, and I don't have time to go over all the things that we've done down there. But my record stands for itself. I care about people. I'm a people representative. My goal is to work for the people of the 144th district. By increasing opportunities. For children. I'm all about teachers in school, and I know our region needs jobs. It's a difficult thing, but there's going to be some challenges in the district, and I look forward to those challenges.
Fitzwater is a retired teacher and track coach and officiates high school and college basketball. He also owns Fitzwater and Son Concrete in Potosi. The Bismarck Fire Protection District fundraiser this past Saturday is being called a success. The events include a barbecue, auction, pool tournament, and dance. The owner of Bismarck Tire, John Jelnick, says the community showed their support for the district and they had a good time.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that come in there and supported us, and we done real good. Our auction was a real good success. It was kind of like yard sale items, but everybody got in there and auctioned on it. They all had a good time, and it was pretty much an enjoyable time with everybody up there.
Saturday's fundraiser brought in $2,400. The district is planning a fishing tournament later this year. The Fire Protection District is also hoping for the community's support on their April 3rd ballot proposal when voters will decide on a tax levy to fund the district. And when we come back, state legislators are working on bills aimed at creating jobs and protecting taxpayers. That story's coming up only on 18 Eyewitness News. A bipartisan coalition of legislators is working with Governor Nixon to jumpstart Missouri's auto industry. The Missouri Work Strategy outlined by the governor in his State of the State address provides specific tools to create new jobs in the automotive supplier industry. Senators and representatives have introduced legislation to implement the auto supplier proposal contained in Missouri Works. Now, one of the sponsors of the Senate version of the bill is Kevin Engler of Farmington.
Out here in rural Missouri, we really don't have a lot of opportunity to get an automobile plant, but we sure can supply the parts. And these companies would like parts suppliers that are in close proximity. With the Chevy plant expanding and with the Ford plant in Claycomo expanding, we think we've got some opportunities in the state.
One of the sponsors of the House version of the bill is Speaker Stephen Tilley of Perryville. Both bills are in committee at this time. Senate President Pro Tem Robert Mayer of Dexter is sponsoring Senate Bill 439. The legislation would modify the current laws relating to prevailing wages in the Show Me State. Mayer says his bill would address problems in calculating contractors' wages on public building projects.
The goal with prevailing wage is that it's supposed to use data on the wages paid for each occupations in each county to set the rate contractors are paid on public works projects. Unfortunately, our current system doesn't work well. In fact, in many counties, there's no data submitted to determine the prevailing wage.
When there's no data, the state looks at counties where there is data. However, Mayer offers an example from his district of the problems that system creates.
A perfect example of this is happening in Stoddard County. No data was submitted for the rates paid to electricians in Stoddard County, so the division set Stoddard County's prevailing wage for electricians based on data from St. Charles County. That means electricians who work on public projects like school or public buildings in Stoddard County would be paid $52.18 an hour because that's what they're paid in St. Charles County, despite the fact that St. Charles County has a median household income double that of the residents of Stoddard County.
Mayer says the goal of Senate Bill 439 is to protect taxpayers from overpaying for local services on public building projects. The Missouri Department of Natural Resources is launching a statewide roundup to rid homes of mercury. The DNR is sponsoring nearly 50 mercury drop-off locations throughout the state, including 4 in the 18 Eyewitness News viewing area. Among the items the DNR is hoping to collect are mercury-containing instruments like thermometers, blood pressure cuffs, thermostats, or switches. Now, according to the department, if you'd like to drop off these items at a site, you should first secure the item in 2 zip-top plastic bags and then place it in a crush-proof sealed container, such as a coffee can. The drop-off sites in our area include the health departments in St. Francis, St. Genevieve, and Perry counties, as well as the DNR's Southeast Regional Office in Poplar Bluff. The mercury roundup will end on May 31st. When we come back on 18 Eyewitness News, it's not just a problem in developing countries. Don Arnold has some surprising statistics about babies born in the U.S. with cleft lip and palate. That's next in today's Your Health segment. Now let's check in with Dustin Cobb. He is busy in the Storm Tracker Center. He's making a check of our Storm Tracker 18 weather forecast, which is coming up next on 18 Eyewitness News. Thanks, Dustin. And now here's Don Arnold with tonight's Your Health segment on 18 Eyewitness News.
Nearly every hour of every day, another baby is born in this country with a cleft lip or a cleft palate. It might surprise you to know that it's one of the most common birth defects in the U.S. Advanced technology can help doctors spot the problems while the child is still in the womb, but a new study shows where parents take their baby to be treated after they're born could make a huge difference. With details, here's Clark Powell.
The first time Matthew and Chelsea Osborne ever thought about a cleft lip was just moments after their son Carter was born. There was no family history and no warning.
It was kind of heartbreaking, the first time, just the shock of it all.
Then it happened again. The only difference this time was that doctors were able to catch the issue early during an ultrasound.
The look on the nurse's face, I could kind of tell something was wrong, but neither my husband nor I in a million years would have thought it happened again.
Most of us wouldn't, but it might surprise you to know that cleft lip and cleft palate is the second most common birth defect in the U.S. behind congenital heart disease. And more babies are born with these issues in this country than in some developing countries.
And in fact, cleft lip and cleft palate is twice as common in the United States as it is in the developing continent of Africa.
Dr. Richard Kirshner is with Nationwide Children's Hospital. He says when parents like the Osborns detect problems in the womb, they have more time to plan and weigh their treatment options. And a new study by the American Society of Plastic Surgeons says that can be helpful. The study found that babies who get cleft surgery at teaching hospitals have as much as 27% fewer complications afterwards. But Kirshner, who is also affiliated with Ohio State University, says the advantages of teaching hospitals don't just end when the operations do.
One thing that makes us very special is we have a critical mass of absolute world-class leaders in their field, in surgery, in speech therapy, and in orthodontics.
It was that team approach that appealed to the Osborns. For years, their kids can come back to see everyone from surgeons to psychologists to dentists, all to make sure that an issue they've had since birth doesn't stigmatize them for life. At Nationwide Children's Hospital, this is Clark Powell reporting.
Doctors say cleft issues form in the first few weeks of pregnancy, so you should talk to your doctor about any concerns you have before you begin planning your pregnancy.
Coming up in today's Your Life segment, what you should know if you use a pawn shop for a short-term loan.
And coming up in sports, Farmington's wrestlers pinned down their 18th district championship. Jeff Fisher is putting the finishing touches on this first Rams coaching staff, and the Cardinals stock up on young arms. These stories coming up in sports on 18 Eyewitness News.
This is 18 Eyewitness News Sports.
Farmington's experienced wrestling team wrapped up their 18th district crown this past weekend. The senior-laden squad dominated the tournament, racking up a score of 266.5. Hillsborough came in second with a 167.5 total. Farmington will send 12 of their 14 wrestlers to state after 6 placed first, 1 second, 3 third, and 2 fourth. The state tournament gets underway Thursday at Columbia's Hearn Center. With the general manager search now concluded, Coach Jeff Fisher is putting some finishing touches on his first Rams coaching staff. Chuck Cecil, a longtime assistant under Fisher with the Tennessee Titans and a former Pro Bowl safety as a player, will become the team's secondary coach, according to league sources. Cecil broke into coaching in 2001 as an assistant with Tennessee and spent his first 8 seasons there on Fisher's Titan staff, working with the secondary. In 2009, Cecil replaced Jim Schwartz as defensive coordinator after Schwartz took the Detroit Lions head coaching job. The Cardinals continue to invest in potential talent from the Dominican and have deals in place with 2 teenage pitchers. The Redbirds have agreements with right-hander Andres Serrano and lefty Eric Hurtado. The team is awaiting the results of an investigation that validates the players' ages and their paperwork before making the signings official. Ben Badler of Baseball America was the first to report the signings. He says Serrano has a long-armed, projectable 6'3", 190-pound frame and a fastball that scouts have said they've seen range anywhere from 90 to 95 miles per hour. Hurtado is 6'3", 200 pounds and throws in the high 80s. And Mizzou is on the move. The Tigers moved up 1 spot to number 3 in the AP and USA Today coaches basketball rankings after a week in which they beat Oklahoma on the road and Baylor at home. Kentucky and Syracuse are ahead of Mizzou in both polls. Kansas is at number 4 in the AP, but number 5 in the coaches poll. This week, Mizzou faces Oklahoma State at home tomorrow night and then travels to Texas A&M on Saturday. And that's a look at sports. We'll be back with tonight's Your Life segment right after this on 18 Eyewitness News.
I'm Stacey Johnson. Shows about pawn shops are all over reality TV. But if you need to borrow money, should a pawn shop be your reality? Let's find out just ahead on Money Talks News.
In today's tough times, if you need money and you can't turn to a bank, One option is to go to a lender of last resort, pawn shops. But is that a good idea? Money reporter Stacy Johnson is here with some valuable advice.
We're getting people that are coming in that have never been here before. They're selling their gold, they're selling their electronics, they're selling tools.
Pawn shops are certainly nothing new. Shops that lend money against possessions have been around in one form or another since biblical times. But what is new? A plethora of programs promoting pawn shops. You've seen them. The airwaves are full of them. And so is the internet. Here's an online pawn shop with a cute video describing how easy it is to send in your stuff and get a check. They even sent me a press release claiming they're seeing a rising trend of Americans pawning to pay off credit cards. People running pawn shops may be your reality heroes, but maybe it's time for a reality check. You know, it's not unusual for pawn shops to charge from 3 to 6% per month when you borrow money there. That's 36 to 72% a year. That's no way to borrow money, and it's certainly no way to pay off debt. Pawn shops may be a good place to pick stuff up cheap, but as a place to borrow, no way. If you're really just selling your stuff, you'll probably get more for it by putting it on eBay. And even if you insist on borrowing here, at least shop several stores to try to get the best deal. You'll almost certainly receive different offers in different places. Bottom line, a pawn shop is no place to borrow money. So watch all the reality TV you want, but if your reality includes needing a loan, make these guys your lenders of last resort. Want alternatives to pawn shops? I've got some ideas for you waiting right here at MoneyTalksNews.com. I'm Stacy Johnson.
If you need more information and links to Stacy's website, go to MoneyTalksNews.com. Dustin, I tell you what, I've been trying to think about some things that is good with snow. Can't think of many things. It's cold. It's wet.
Right.
It gets nasty with mud.
It does.
There's not a whole lot of good things with snow, but one thing comes to mind. Back in the day, we used to make snow cream.
Really?
You ever had it?
I never have.
All you got to do is get a great big bowl of snow, pile it up, get you a little bit of vanilla or Karo syrup, or maybe some sugar, mix it up real good. That's what we used to call poor man's ice cream.
Now, I've had homemade ice cream, but I've never had poor man's
ice cream. Well, you never were a poor man, I guess, like I was when I was growing up down in southeast Missouri. That's how we made ice cream, and it was pretty good.
I bet.
But you don't want the first snow because you get all the contaminants, and then you'd get sick, and then you wouldn't like snow cream. So that's the good thing about snow. Another good thing about this snow is it's almost gone.
Right. Now, before I get into saying it's almost gone, there's one thing I do hate about the snowfall.
What's that?
The roads get slick.
Yeah.
Driveways get slick.
Yeah.
It took me 3 tries to get my driveway last night.
3 tries?
3 tries. Not once, not twice, but 3 times.
So what happened?
Well, the first time I drove about halfway up, got stuck, and I'm on an incline, just a little bit of an incline, so I got stuck. I ended up in the yard, and then, so I backed into the road, tried it again, got stuck again, backed out, and I was like, I am determined to get into my driveway fully. So I tried my hardest to get up there. I took it into the driveway. I was hoping and praying that I wasn't going to run into the garage, and luckily I didn't. From where I stopped at, that's where I stopped at. I turned my car off and went inside. I was fed up.
I don't blame you one bit. Bus stop forecast. What
Bus stop forecast. Well, the kids, I think, will be going to school tomorrow. Temperatures are not going to be too cold as they have been in the last several nights, but we will see the temperatures in the lower 30s, mostly cloudy skies. We do have some rain moving in, possibly even some thunderstorms moving in tomorrow, and then mostly cloudy skies on Friday, but the weekend's looking pretty nice. We're going to see temperatures around 50 degrees, and temperatures are going to not be too bad. We're going to see a lot of sunshine, too.
I think you're going to see some trees budding out here in the next couple of weeks.
I saw some pictures a couple days ago, or about a week or so ago, of some flowers starting to bloom.
Oh, my goodness. Spring will be here before you know it. That does it for our newscast tonight, folks. Thanks for watching us. We'll be back tomorrow with more. Until then, have a blessed evening. God bless everyone, and good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Newswatch is next.